So I got something really wild for you today, Avery. I was digging into this, and it's like a geopolitical bombshell just dropped in the world of AI.
Oh, yeah? Okay, you've got my attention. Welcome, everyone, to the AI Intel Brief. Lay it on me, Zia.
Okay, so picture this. It's the very last week of December 2025. While everyone's, on holiday break, the three biggest global superpowers, the US, China, and Europe, they all basically just gave up on agreeing on AI. They went their separate ways.
Wait, hold on. Gave up? Like, they're not talking anymore? Is this like a geopolitical breakup over AI?
That is the perfect way to put it. It's a breakup. It's like the moment global AI governance just fractured permanently. And they've all picked these totally incompatible paths forward.
Incompatible is a strong word. What do you mean by that? Is this like my phone software won't update if I go to Europe, or?
Oh, it's way, way bigger than that. We're talking about a future where an AI system could be like literally illegal in one country and at the same time be mandatory in another.
Wow. So companies would have to build completely different AIs for different places. You'd have a US version, a China version?
Exactly. It's like we're heading for these parallel AI universes. It sounds, well, honestly, it sounds chaotic. And it all just happened. So let's break down what each of these superpowers did, starting with the US.
Okay, let's do it. So, what's the American approach? What did they announce?
Okay, so on December 11th, 2025, President Trump signed this executive order, and it has, of course, a super long government name, ensuring a national policy framework for artificial intelligence.
Of course it does. So, what's behind the title? What's the actual plan?
It's massive, Avery. The core message is basically the federal government telling all the states, you're done. Stop regulating AI. We're taking over completely. It's a total federal preemption.
Whoa. Okay, but states like California, Colorado, New York, they've been passing their own AI laws for a few years now. You can't just turn that off, can you?
Well, that's exactly the point. The order sets up this thing called the AI Litigation Task Force, and their only job is to sue states whose AI laws the White House thinks are, and this is their word, onerous.
They're going to sue their own states for trying to regulate AI. That's aggressive.
And fast. They have a deadline of January 10th, 2026 to start. So, like, in a couple of weeks. And, get this, they specifically call out Colorado's law against algorithmic discrimination. The order claims that law might, quote, force AI models to produce false results.
Hold on, they're framing anti discrimination rules as a form of censorship. That's a wild philosophical take. So, if a state says your AI can't be biased, the federal government is saying you're forcing the AI to lie.
You nailed it. The order literally says state laws are requiring entities to embed ideological bias within models. So safety testing is suddenly thought control. But I can see your next question coming. States don't have to listen to an executive order, right? There's federalism.
Exactly. So, how do they enforce this?
Ah, this is the clever part. Money. The order links federal grants to state AI policies, specifically that big BEAD broadband funding. So if your state has what they call onerous AI laws, you get no federal money for internet infrastructure.
Oh, that is a very big stick. We're talking billions and billions of dollars. And I just saw New York sign their big RAISE Act on December 19th. So, they're on a collision course.
A direct one. Okay, so that's the US. Move fast, preempt everything. Meanwhile, China's doing, well, the complete opposite.
Okay, so pivot to China. What's their model?
On December 27th, so just a few days ago, their Cyberspace Administration put out new draft rules for any AI with human-like interaction.
Human like interaction? What does that even mean? Is that like just a chatbot?
Basically, yes. The definition is any AI that has, quote, simulated human personality traits, thinking patterns, and communication styles, and interacts emotionally with people.
So every single chatbot and AI assistant out there. Got it. So what are the rules for them?
This is the wild part. These AI systems, they are now required to monitor users for addiction and for extreme emotions.
I'm sorry, what? The AI has to monitor my feelings?
I know, right? The rules say providers have to identify user states, assess users' emotions and their level of dependence on the service, and take necessary intervention measures.
So if I don't know, talking to a chatbot too much in China, it's supposed to tell me to log off. And if I seem too angry, it intervenes? That feels very paternalistic.
Totally. Plus all the usual content restrictions about national security, rumors, and so on. But here's the thing, it's working for them in terms of scale. ByteDance's chatbot, Doubao, it hit 172 million monthly active users back in September. They're processing over 50 trillion tokens a day.
172 million? That's bigger than most countries. And Alibaba's QN model crossed 30 million. They're building a massive, massive walled garden for AI.
Exactly. And their model as a service market grew 421% year over year. But check this out. One of their companies, DeepSeek, became the #1 model provider in the whole world by token volume in 2025.
Wait, how? I thought US export controls were limiting their access to the best chips. They're winning with worse hardware?
That's the story. Sheer algorithmic optimization. They're just being way more efficient to make up for the compute gap. So China's model is scaled domestically, control ideologically. Now, want to talk about Europe?
Yeah, let's complete the triangle. Europe has always been about regulation first, right? With the AI Act.
They were the hardliners for sure. But in November, they blinked.
Blinked how? What did they do?
On November 19th, they released something called the Digital Simplification Package, and it's basically a delay. They're pushing back the really tough requirements for high-risk AI systems, like biometric systems, from August 2026 all the way to December 2027.
So they're pretty much admitting their own rules were too ambitious to implement on time. One legal analysis I saw called it a reality check.
Yeah, and they're also making their big code of practice for general purpose AI voluntary. So companies like Mistral and OpenAI signed up, but no one has to.
But that creates a huge problem, right? If the US is basically deregulating and Europe is still piling on compliance costs, even with delays, you get a massive competitiveness crisis.
It's already happening. There's data showing that Gen Z in places like India and Brazil are adopting AI way, way faster than young people in Europe. The gap is getting wider.
So Europe is stuck. They want to be the ethical leader, but they risk becoming totally irrelevant if they can't compete. It's a huge gamble. Betting on self-regulation will work while they delay the hard stuff.
It is. But there's another piece to this puzzle. While all the governments are fracturing and going their own ways, the industry itself is doing the opposite. It's consolidating at like a terrifying speed.
Okay, so define terrifying speed. What are the numbers?
AI M&A deal value is up 242% year over year. Over 200 startups from seed funding to Series B were just bought in 2025. That's up 200% from last year.
Wow, everyone's getting acquired. And I'm guessing the big guys are getting even bigger.
Oh, yeah. Meta just finalized a $14.3 billion investment in Scale AI. All the tech giants together, they're planning to spend over $320 billion on AI infrastructure this year.
320 billion with a B. That is just a staggering amount of money.
It is. And here's a really strategic move. Anthropic just made its first acquisition ever. They bought a company called Bun. It's a JavaScript runtime that powers a ton of coding tools.
So even the big AI labs are going vertical now. They're not just building the models, they're buying up the core infrastructure that developers use. That's a power move. And Forbes said AI minted what? Over 50 new billionaires last year?
Yep, with over $200 billion invested in the sector. So, okay, what does all this fragmentation and consolidation mean for, a normal person or someone trying to run a business?
I see three big things. First, this idea of regulatory arbitrage becomes very, very real. Companies will literally just move their legal headquarters to whatever country has the friendliest rules for them.
Which could lead to a race to the bottom on safety, right?
Potentially, yes. Second, if you're a smaller company, your choices are grim. You either get acquired by a giant or you have to pick one market to operate in. Trying to serve the US, EU, and China all at once is about to become crazy expensive.
Because you'd need three different AI systems, basically. And the third thing?
The third thing is that the models themselves, they might become incompatible, like technically incompatible. We could genuinely really end up with an American AI, a European AI, and a Chinese AI that you just can't mix and match. The digital walls get higher.
Wow. But okay, there has to be a wild card in all this. Someone doing things differently.
There is. And nobody's really talking about them yet. India.
India, what's their play?
On December 23rd, they dropped their own AI governance framework. And it's totally different. Their slogan is basically governance without heavy regulation.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
Instead of writing rules for companies, they're just building AI directly into their government's digital public infrastructure. So they're taking Aadhaar, their digital identity system, and UPI for payments, and just embedding AI into all of it. Google just announced a massive partnership with them to do it.
So they're skipping the whole regulation debate and just making AI a public utility?
Yes, and they are not playing around. They added nearly 16,000 new GPUs to their national compute capacity in just the first quarter. And this is the really huge part, they're making AI curriculum mandatory in all schools, starting in grade 3.
Grade 3? You mean like 8-year-olds are going to be learning about AI in school?
Yep, starting in the 2026 school year. And with a median age of like 28 and 1.4 billion people, that is a massive generational bet on AI literacy. While the West is arguing about rules, India is just building and teaching.
Wow. Okay, so let's try to summarize this whole crazy picture. December 25th is the week it all split. The U.S. is basically saying,
Minimal regulation at the federal level. Sue any states that get in the way and let innovation run wild.
China is saying,
Scale up inside our own country, monitor users' emotions, and control the ideology completely.
Europe is saying,
We have comprehensive rules, but we might need to delay them a bit.
India is just,
Forget the arguments. Just build it into the infrastructure and teach everyone how to use it.
and meanwhile, the corporations are saying, we'll just buy everything that moves.
That's the entire global situation in a nutshell, and the next 18 months are going to be critical. We'll see if this split gets deeper or if some crisis forces everyone back to the table.
So, what should people listening actually do with this information if you're building a company?
Pick your market and pick it very carefully. If you're an investor, watch those legal challenges that start on January 10th. And if you're a researcher, focus on efficiency. That's the new frontier.
And if you're just a person using AI every day?
Just understand that the AI tools you love today might look and feel totally different a year from now, depending entirely on where you live. We aren't building one single AI future anymore. We're building several, all at the same time.
That's kind of scary, but also kind of exciting.
Welcome to 2026. That's the vibe. All right, everyone, let us know in the comments which path you think gets it right. Is it the US, the EU, China, or the India wildcard? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Stay curious.
And stay skeptical. We'll see you next time.